Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of your weekly dose of Terraform. My name is Anton Lubyanka and I'd like to continue working on terraform-aws-modules, fix some issues, talk about Terraform, and hopefully you will learn something new. If not, well, that's life. No, I'm kidding. You'll probably learn something new because today I will actually review a pull request which was pretty big, and I like to have more support for different AWS services, and ECS is definitely one of the highest priority for quite some time. I mean, if not months or if not years, then for several months at least. So yeah, let me know how you can hear me. Maybe you cannot hear me at all, then I will blame Crisp, but hopefully you will hear me well. Or tell me where are you joining from. It will be useful to know. So let's see. I have a few things to share as well for pretty much everyone who is using Terraform. First of all, Terraform Weekly, weekly.tf newsletter. Feel free to subscribe to this one, and I'm pretty sure you will learn something useful, or maybe not so useful, but at least inspiring. For example, how to deploy Counter-Strike with Terraform. Of course, we all want to deploy games with Terraform, or you may be interested in using TerraGrant to keep versions of Terraform providers consistent. Pretty cool solution using code generation features of TerraGrant, and a bunch of other things which I go on the internet pretty much daily, and I take sources, take different blog posts and put them into this newsletter. I also would like to say big thanks to Stira for sponsoring this newsletter. Stira is a company behind Open Policy Agent, and 18th of April they will have hands-on workshop where they will be covering these two projects, I mean two tools, Terraform and Stira, and how it can be integrated together. Uh, Please join if you want to know more, and yeah, thanks again, Stira. So weekly.tf is your place to get some news. Also, if you like what I'm doing, I'm kind of highly dependent on these sponsors. So if you like what I do in the open source, or if you want me to do a little bit more, please join as sponsors. And once more, thanks a lot to all existing sponsors and all previous sponsors as well. Um, well, one more thing which I want to share is some time ago, like last week, I think, I have seen this provider being added. I have not tried it yet myself. This provider has some resources which, again, I didn't try it. I don't know if it works or not. But in general, it sounds like a cool workaround for situations where we may have something like let me see where I want to. Mm, So when we have information like, oh my God, so where can I find it? So sometimes we have known after apply when we run plan, and this prevents us from reusing or from writing complete statement the way we want inside of for each or counts, and there are some limitations. So normally we used to run terraform apply with some target, create something in advance, and then use it inside of for each arguments. As far as I understand from this provider, and from what I have read about it, is that this provider emulate this behavior, and it makes something like is known provider somehow somewhere. Here is it, provider. No, it's not this one. Well, it somehow emulates this one. Again, um, if you have some inspiration or if you want to learn more, go there and maybe you will find it useful. Okay, let's see. Yep. And also, I probably will hit this during today as well because GitHub revoked the RSS SSH host key today, like literally 8 hours ago. So maybe it will be some extra commands which I will have to run, like to update this key in my known host. We'll see. So this is something what you guys will have to look into if you hit this issue as well. Okay, let's move on to the real stuff. So the real stuff here is ECS, where Brian added support for creating ECS servers and container definitions. Uh, I don't know if it is working, but it's pretty big, and I really want to take a look on this one and see how it works, and hopefully merge it as soon as possible. So let's review the code and run some examples and see if there are some comments. As usual, if you have any questions, suggestions, or whatever, just leave a comment and I will get back to it. And I mean, get back to it as soon as possible. I'm not sure if actually comments work this way. Let me see. Uh, yeah, probably they work, but I have no clue if it if it will really work because I have just updated my streaming software as usual, like once a week. Right, test passed. Thank you very much, Baptiste. Okay, that's exactly kind of feedback I need. Yes, test passed, so we can move on. Okay, right, so let's take a look into this ECS and see how much I can do. Um, yes, that's good. Okay, so taking a look into README what kind of stuff he added. It's actually a submodule for ECS servers with several features added that ignores desired count when deploying task definitions via Terraform. That's good. And that ignores desired count and task definition when use your CD process. Uh, Therefore, task definition, container definitions are set only initially, but then controlled externally. Yeah, common sense, right? So if you start using Terraform, you may use another tool to do actual deployments. Okay, ECS service, IAM role, task definition for n number of container definition. Task execution, task IAM role, task. Okay, I don't know if there is too much sense to explain all of this in details inside of features. Normally we just list what kind of features. Hello, Lucas from Brazil. Yeah, normally we just list very key features, but okay, we can have it like this as well. It was security group used by the service. Okay, let's take a look into the code changes and hopefully figure out ECS. This is example. ECS cluster using EC2 auto-scaling groups and Fargate capacity provider. Okay, pretty decent configuration as for example at least. So using load balancer, security group, that's pretty cool. Oh, where was it? Let's see. VPC. Right, I just see that VPC module here is used version 3, while ChatGPT doesn't know about version 3. It still knows about version 2, which is okay. I mean, version 2, version 3, not a big difference. And since ChatGPT was not indexing, or was last indexed 2 years ago, it's okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, some code here. Nothing special. In general, this module was written a long time ago. It was very simple at the beginning, and then it was updating. Nuno is asking, we'll have time to look at 284. 284, let's see, what is it? 284. Yeah, well, let's see. Is it easy? Is it simple? Well, it looks very simple. Definitely, let's take a look on it right now. It's pretty small, and if it works, then it works. Let me just run uh, CI to see if it passed, and I will take a look into the code right now. So first thing is, I guess this stuff is available not in the current version, but in specific version. So let's take a look here. Which version was it? It was introduced in 459, and which version we are using? Where is this? 459, right? Okay, so it's included. That's good. Then what else can be done here? Enable WAF. No, which one is added? This one is added. This one is added. So two variables, right? Enable TLS. Enable XFF. I have no clue what XFF is for, but that's correct. So normally when we have append here, we default to null, and then we allow Terraform AWS provider to figure out what is what. But okay, append is fine here if it's default value. Well, yeah, that's it. There is pretty much nothing else to look into. Should examples be updated for this one? Um, mm, no. XFF, right, X forwarded 4, right. The default is append. Right, okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, it says here. Right, okay, yeah, I don't see any issues with this one, really. Add support, and this is green, so this is merged. This is a new feature, so that's it. It says solves. Solves is not the keyword. The keyword is, what was it? The keyword here is fixes. So if it would be fixes, then GitHub would close this automatically. But now I will have to close it manually and say that it was resolved in 284, and this is closed. Right. Okay. So that's good. So the it's linked and comment is there, and new version has been released. So thank you very much, Nuno, for this contribution, or at least for the nudge. Sometimes that's all I need. Good. So this is done. Let's go back to the ECS and see what kind of stuff can be done here. Uh, Cluster configuration. Well, example changes are pretty much dependent on what kind of module change happened, right? This is a really important test case. We sometimes discover a lot of fun stuff there. Mm. So module service. Mm, uh, mm, can well, my first question right now regarding the structure here. We have module for so we have root configuration here, which creates cluster, and it creates wait it creates cluster conditionally, so it may be disabled. Then it creates service inside of separate submodule. uh, do we need to have it as a separate submodule, or can we merge this into one? Hmm. I'm thinking about like reducing amount of code which has to be inside of variables uh, somewhere here, like so we are making a cluster, and we are making roles take care of many IAM resources. That's good. And then we are making container definition, which is essentially uh, okay, right. So container definition is a good idea to have external because it doesn't have a dependency on the cluster, right? While service itself, mm, well, I don't see a big need uh, in making service a submodule. Why? Because if we would have this inside of root module, user may specify that they don't want to make ECS cluster, they want to use existing cluster, but they want to attach service to it, right? At the same time, mm, yeah, at the same time, when I look into this example, here we are making ECS, we are making cluster, and we can make service as well there, right? Should we make this as a split between two modules? That's what I'm saying. Mm, maybe yes, but maybe no. Making it as a separate thing is probably simpler, at least to maintain. Hmm. I'm not sure if it makes sense to have so separately. Okay, I'll take a look into this example when I check it out locally. But my first impression is that we may have one big module in main, because what we expect is that user create cluster and services at the same time, right? No, one, right? No, it doesn't make sense to. Um, in terms of being feature oriented, the service is part of ECS functionality we want to propose. Yes, so my main question is whether service should be a submodule or it should be merged with the rest of the code. So if I look into this code now, the way it is written now, We have cluster, and we have some cluster capacity provider, some other things, and maybe that's a place where we want to do services as well. Uh, if user will want to make service outside, yeah, right now it doesn't really have a lot of magic here. mm, 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 mm. Um, yeah, it was 9 months ago when the work started. Uh, okay, I'll check it out locally and see if it makes sense. The idea, as you noted, is that yes, ECS service is part of ECS functionality. Currently, we have only cluster uh, covered, and the rest of task definition and services are independent. And Nuno says, in my own repo, I have one module for ECS and another for service. Cluster takes care of cluster takes care of ECS service plus ASG, and ECS service cluster takes care of ECS cluster plus ASG, I guess, and ECS service takes care of ECS service. Mm, yes, but maybe it can be combined. That's what I'm saying. But again, there are some use cases where you may want to have cluster created somewhere and attach mm, bunch of different extra resources like service externally as part of submodule. So maybe that's not so bad. I'm a bit worried that there is already a strong dependency between ECS service uh, somewhere here, cluster. Mm, yeah, there is a dependency. Where is this cluster? Cluster. Yeah, at least capacity provider is here. Mm, okay. Uh, right. What else to look into? Let's look into these changes here. Again, bunch of different logic being added. CloudWatch log group. Making this, yes, retention. Mhm. When you use managed termination protection, you must also use managed scaling. Mm. Managed termination protection. Managed, what is managed termination? Ah, right, I see. Mm. Yeah, normally we don't have this logic here. No charm core, we need to get to the core. Redundancy reduction is imperative. Not sure I understand where this is even coming from, but okay. As I said, we normally don't have this logic. We ask user to figure out this themselves. So they need to provide two values. Mm. Okay, this is Koaleski. Mm. Koaleski, yes, will fall back to empty. This is important. Not Koaleski, but try will fall back to empty if nothing is specified here. task exec assume. IAM role for task exec. Yeah, that's okay. Pulled from, well, if there is such policy already, we can extend, I mean, we can literally attach this policy instead of copying this statement, because in the past, AWS sometimes add or remove some actions, and we don't want to manage it. I think I have implemented this behavior in Lambda function or maybe in step functions. So leave a comment here. Can we attach policy by name instead of copying statements one by one? This is mainly to avoid situations when AWS add and we will need to okay, get parameters. This is important stuff because task exec, as far as I understand, will yeah, it will require these things for specific resources. What is this statement? Right, so this is for custom statements. Principles, conditions, that's good. Tags for policy. Yes, maybe we need to add the same tags for CloudWatch log groups. Yes, we need to do this. Let's see how to write it in the most efficient way. Tags and then CloudWatch log group tags. Let's merge tags too. You never know what kind of stuff people need to parameterize, so it's better to give them whole flexibility. So tagging is important. Container definition. Is it really container definition? Is it task definition? I'm a bit lost. I thought it's called task definition. Oh, container definition. I thought yeah, it's probably a task definition. But okay, let's see examples. Configuration in this directory creates ECS container definition. What is ECS container definition? All right, it's called container definition or task definition. I'm a bit lost. So container definitions are used in task definitions. Okay, and task definitions are split into separate parts. Right, so task definitions is smaller. Uh, oh, hello, Josh. Yes, task can contain one or more containers. I understand that. I was wondering if this piece of code actually create um, like low-level container things, or is it global task definition? So probably it's taking care of just container. That's fine. So how to make task definition out of this? Mm, hello, Mert. Good show up of uh, Terraform fans today. That's really cool. Right, so container definition has some magic. Is not Windows, of course it's not Windows. I don't even know if it works on Windows. Mm, right. Okay, bunch of different things here. Uh, yes. Again, we need to do tags here. Hmm. Okay, we have actually a variable enable CloudWatch login here. What if we have the same variable inside of service? Because inside of service here, okay, it's called create CloudWatch log groups and enable CloudWatch login. Yeah, probably it's better to be consistent. I will move this tick tick tick. Yes, here create CloudWatch log groups and enable CloudWatch login. What is the logic between these two? Not sure I understand. Is enough, I guess. Like we have in other places. Enable CloudWatch is configured for this container definition. Set to enable CloudWatch login. By default, the configuration provide what is configuration provide? Configuration provider creates and views a CloudWatch log group. Configuration provide, what is this? Mm, to disable creation use of this behavior, you can disable with for scenarios where alternative login methods is a bit odd in the whole sentence. I think if person who is using English as a foreign language tells you that wording is wrong, you need to listen. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so enable CloudWatch login is disabled. That's why there is this block. Okay, and that's why we are mm, using this parameter, but we may use another CloudWatch log groups, right? So we don't necessarily want to make it, we can still use it, right? So when this group is created, then we use it. Okay, so then this comment is not needed. Instead, let's merge tags here too. So instead, we may want user to come up with externally created CloudWatch log group. So that's why um, mm, okay, right. Log group, log configuration can be provided. Okay, so when log configuration is provided, then user will specify its own log group the way they want. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Otherwise, it says enabling CloudWatch log groups, and we are gonna to create this log group. Mm -hmm. Okay, yeah, now it makes sense. So user can create its own group, like internally by this container definition. Well, actually, container definition is a bit strange place to create resources like this. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit strange because the rest of this is totally logic. I mean, it's logic submodule. It's not physical. It doesn't create physical resources like CloudWatch log groups. Yeah, I mean, it should not create it. That's what I'm thinking. So an output is just container definition or CloudWatch log group name or log group IRN. Right. Mm, mm, should this create CloudWatch log group? That's what I'm a bit concerned. Let's see. The name of service that container definition is associated with. Oh my god, why? Hmm. Yeah. Mm. All right. So what I'm a bit concerned right now is that in order to create container definition, uh, we have tightly coupling between service. I mean, that's place where we'll make service and we'll figure out service name as well as name. What is name? So by default, yes, we will enable uh, whether a log group is created by this module. Yes. Hmm. So yeah, we will enable this. We'll create CloudWatch log groups. Uh, yeah, I'm a bit unsure that we need to create CloudWatch log groups as part of container definition. So I will express my concern here, but I don't know how to, um, if it's a good idea. We'll see. We can always remove it in the future version if it's so bad. How to put it? I'm a bit unsure that it is a good idea to create real AWS. Yeah, fields out of scope. That's what I think as well. That's a good idea to create real AWS resources. CloudWatch log group um, as part of this logic um, submodule. Where can we create it instead? Hmm. Or maybe Yeah, it feels out of scope, but where else user will be able to create it? So when a user say, hey, I want to have container definition, they may say like, hey, I want to make also all supplementary resources. In this case, it is CloudWatch law groups. Let's see something else maybe here. Mm, they may want to have, what else they mm, yeah, that's the rest is pretty much static here. Yeah, of course they may want to say like, hey, I want to make image as well, but it's not part of container definition by any means. So I am a bit unsure. It's a good idea to create real AWS resources as part of this logic submodule. It feels that it is out of scope. Mm. It is similar to consuming a secret from parameter store. Uh, let's see, parameter store. Mm, parameter store is not mentioned here, right? Parameter store is part, I mean, has relation between ECS service and execution role for IAM. So you can do that with ECS task definition, but you want to create it elsewhere. Yeah, exactly. So consuming is one thing, I understand that, but creating it doesn't feel natural. So let's see what Brian said. Sure that whether it is a good idea to create real resources as part of this logic submodule. It feels out of scope. I really like that this submodule it has zero dependencies on zero dependencies. Yep. Okay, let's move on. Operating system family. Amazon allows you to reference output variables from one module to use in different modules. Yeah, of course it allows. The thing is that which we need to implement is that our modules should know how to say our modules should contain all information normally is needed to operate the service. So we don't want user to wrap um, independent things like small resource in one submodule and then another two resources in another submodule. That's what I'm thinking is that maybe it makes sense to create it as part of let's say service, at least conditionally or optionally. Mm, right, all of this is pretty good. All these types are decent. Any is what we use. I didn't know we use Markdown here, but okay. We can use Markdown as well here. Anyway, it's not shown anywhere in the Terraform CLI. Terraform allows you to reference output variables from one module for another in different modules. Yeah, that's what we use. That's what we have an example. We have several module block and we pass variables, or not variables, but outputs between different modules. Mm, okay, what else? Oh my God, so many different things. So, yeah. Okay, service readme. This is interesting, and that's from main readme. Some notable configuration to be aware of when using this module. Desired count scale is always ignored. The module is designed to utilize auto-scaling by default. Auto-scaling is configured and enabled by default. This aligns to support point 1 above. Well, actually, it's repeating the same one. The default configuration is intended for Fargate use. EC2 launch type is supported through configuration. What? The default, I'm a bit lost with this sentence. The default configuration is intended for Fargate use. EC2 launch type is supported through configuration. Can we say something like both configurations are supported, something like this, Fargate and EC2, and that's it. Is it launch type? What is launch type? Is it launch type? Launch type is property of a service. Launch type, right? So both configurations are supported. By setting var launch type supported. Something like this. Both configurations are supported by setting launch type. Or please refer to again, this can be updated a little bit. Refer to about this to fire lens examples repository. Okay, and here we have same example as it was before. Launch type isn't the external as well? It's a good question. Let's search for word external. Yes, there is launch type a EC2, Fargate, and external. And that's a good call out. Josh, let's see. Where was it? Launch. So how to update the sentence. Where was it? Service. Here was it. So both configurations. mm, well, then this sentence is just useless. Both configuration Fargate and ECS are supported by setting launch type. Well, external is also supported. Yeah, I think it's all available options are. Yeah, exactly. So we have list of all available options, but that's inside of variables. So yeah, let's remove it, and we can say no need to specify this here because launch type is already documented. We may have to show this an example at some point, but launch type is already documented and there are three options available. EC2, Fargate, and external. Yep. Okay, what else? Here, conditional creation. The following values are provided to toggle on-off creation of associated resources as desired. Create for all of this, even independent things like policies and roles. In these examples look good. Right, let's scroll. Right, so this is the service itself. Previously it was very short piece of code. Now it's a bit more. Latent, is it the right word? Yeah, looks like. Okay, so what we do here, we have three different configurations. Fargate, external, and the rest, which is EC2. Ignore task definition changes. Yeah. So let's see, I don't need to review all of this code as far as I understand. Yeah. Task definition change, that's something what I'm interested in. Yeah, there are a lot of different configurations. I guess it work. Well, I will try to create resource, but right now it seems to be okay. Bunch of different properties, a bunch of different timeouts. Depend. Yeah, depend on service to be created, and then ignore task definition. That's pretty short name. ITD. Ignore task definition. Is a bit too obfuscated. Okay, and here um, we should have exactly the same piece of code. That's unfortunate with Terraform. Um, Maybe there will be change in the future, but right now we cannot parameterize this task definition or this lifecycle, at least not yet. Okay, so service IAM role. Mm, Here we have role IRN is specified or created. Mm, Every time when I see this Koleska, I need to think that this will be null, for example, and this will not be created. So let's see if this guy is created. This guy is created only if it was specified to be created. So now the question is IAM role IRN, where this is used. So local dot, right, it's used inside of service, and it can be empty. So now let's look into this service documentation to just understand what kind of property. So here we have IAM role. IAM role is optional. So what it means is that if IAM role is optional, this where was this? Let me scroll here. So when this is empty, this is not created, then this call SQ will fail. In order to make it not fail, we need to provide something. If we write null here, will it work? Let me see this in the code because I just don't remember how Terraform works. So it's ECS and pull request is 76. Right, okay, of course. Bad credentials. Uh, uh, I have no clue what Joker Jake is typing in chat, but I can safely ignore it. Okay, GitHub for some reason doesn't like it. HTTPS git with your credential. What? Hmm. Let's see. I'm also authenticating using GitHub Mobile, so it's asking me on my mobile device. Okay. Well, it looks like it works. So now if I check out this 76, yeah, again, this is a problem which I talked at the beginning. Yeah, two-factor authentications are challenging sometimes. So I need to run this command, which I got in the blog post, which is this one, and hopefully I can check out it now. I want to continue. Yes, yes, cool, fantastic. I was able to check out. So what I want to go is examples complete, and inside of this example, I want to run just Terraform console. Let's check out some other stuff here. I want to verify that Koleski will work, and this is kind of important piece because sometimes you cannot import resources if you manage them externally, and Koleski, and then let's say null, not null. So if it is empty string, it will not work. So Koleski null cannot be the case. So what else can we put here? I am role IRN, this one, inside of service. Let's look into variables. It's a pretty big file, but I am a role IRN. Right, it is null. So which means that let's see one more time. So this expression will fail because it will try to create this one. Should I block Joker Jake? I have no clue how to do this, but I can always learn. Well, I think that something has to be written here. Like in some modules, we wrote some value here, which is not empty, just to be able to import this resource. But again, I don't want to speculate on this right now because I don't remember details. And this is only for IAM role IRN. Here, it's okay. I think I know what we can do. We can write try Koleski from whatever was given, and then the last one will be null. Right, so this will make sure that if this fails, then null is used. Right, so then let's see. How can I block somebody? I like to do this. Let's go here. How to click somewhere here. Remove, put user in timeout. Oh, that's cool. Ta-da. Oh, this was simple. I need to practice it more. Okay, so try Koleski null. Now try to explain why or when this can be used. First of all, I am role, how was it called? I am role was optional. So somewhere here, I am role argument of AWS ECS service is optional. So I am role service. So and a user may want to import existing to use here. So we need to fall back to null. This can be verified by running terraform import with for AWS IAM role, and then of course disclaimer, I may be wrong, but we did the same in Lambda and step function. Okay, let's move on. This is not the biggest problem, but still good to have it. So we will not create tags attached to policy. Is it right? Role, yes, but not to policy. Should we attach it to policy? Role tags on IAM policy resource. Right. Description: ECS service policy that allows Amazon ECS to make calls to your load balancer on your behalf. Pretty cool. Okay, finally, we are getting to task definition. So when it comes to task definition, that's a little bit different. Here we have, where is this? Task definition, create task definition. All right, so this guy, this data source, as far as I remember, at some point may fail. If we create task definition, what was it even name of the project? I forgot. Well, there was actually ECS project created by Martin a long time ago, like 3 years ago or even more, where this logic, well, it was previous version like Terraform 0, 11 or 12, but this version was not working. That's why he was using some Lambda function to figure out a version of something. Okay. Yeah, let's skip this one. I don't have enough understanding of where exactly it may fail. This is something what I really don't like, when we have this kind of wallpaper everywhere, and then something will be added. We'll have to add this in more than one place. Not very elegant solution. How can we solve this? Well, for container definition, probably Well, we can always bring container definition as part of the root module. Really, it's not the biggest part. It's a very small file, but it's also a good idea to have it externally. Mm, so yeah, a bit unsure that it makes sense to have. I like when it's external, but also don't like that it's so much external. Yeah, I'm a bit confused, to be honest. We have uh, why do we need to have submodule for this? The logic here is simple one local statement, right? That's it. Why do we put this into container definition module? Well, okay, user may want to call this submodule and create whatever is necessary, right? Can we call this, let's say, if there would be everything in one root module, and then as an argument, user would specify create container definition, right? Hmm. No, it's pretty bad idea. I know that it's bad idea. Uh, Definitions can be huge and there can be more than one. Yeah, exactly. I understand that. Uh, what? I thought I blocked this guy, but he's still there. Okay, let's see. So apparently it was put user in timeout. This didn't work. So let's figure out what else can I do. Hide user in this channel. Yeah, let's try. Uh, okay. No, where is this code? No, that's it. This is it. So module is good here. I understand. I mean, I partially agree with you. Like, the thing is that it's very easy to agree with everything. Believe me, if I agree, then I just hit merge, merge, merge. But if I ask a lot of questions and a lot of stupid questions, then I assume that quality improves. That's pretty much the way I work. Of course, I can merge everything, no problem. Especially if Brian wrote it, then it's probably good because he knows what he's doing very well. But that's not fun. So let's go back to this service and figure out what else is missing. So service suddenly become dependent on another submodule. Is it good? Eh, we should not have dependency between submodules, right? Again, we can have them. Then we'll hit another limitation of Terraform where we will want to, let's say, to wait on something or depends on something, and it has quite a lot of limitations. So let me put it this way. Uh, can we have container definition logic? It is one map, one local map value as as part of this module instead of relying on a submodule and to avoid cross-module dependency. sys in. Mm. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much it. I don't think there is um, a lot of need in that. So one more time. When user want to create service, user may specify a lot of conditional creation statement. User say, okay, I want to create task definition. Great. We all we have to do is just to create this local map thing, which is currently inside of container definition. At some point, a user may want to create just a container definition, right? Okay, that's another question. That's another comment. If user will want to create just a container definition separately, uh, they will be able to call it like this. So the code will look like module container definition. I'm writing Terraform instead of copying it, but it should be easier. Terraform AWS modules ECS AWS. Okay, and then container definitions. Okay, and here user will specify create task definition through. That's it. Right? So user will just specify whatever they want. And then again, the next step or the next question which I have asked at the very beginning is whether it makes even the whole sense of having separate submodule for the service. I understand that the answer is yes, it makes sense, but still let me question this because then I will figure out that actually it's not so much sense. Or maybe yes, maybe no. So create task definition equal true and specify whatever is necessary. What user will want to avoid in this case is user will want to avoid creation of ECS service, right? So here we have create, yes, but also here can be add var create service to allow conditional creation of service and other resources like IAM roles, container definitions, and maybe something else. Let's introduce to allow conditional creation of ECS service. Okay, let's see, well, I was writing it here. So if user will want to create just a container definition separately, they will be able to call it like this. ECS module service create task definition, and they need to disable it. Create service equal false. This is not configurable yet. Right? Is it create task definition or create what's the name of it? Is create task definition or create container definition? Container definition or task definition? No, create task definition, right? Yeah. Well, at least this way will allow user to call one service and don't care about service, but create just that definition the way they want. This will just reduce amount of code. We don't need to have container definition service as such. That's we always need to figure out what is the primary case. Primary case is to create cluster with services, deploy these services differently, like externally or using Terraform. That's it. And as part of creation of service, we may want to create container definitions, right? And that's exactly how it can be configured. Let's see what's next. Service. This allows us to query both the existing as well as Terraform's state and get max level of either source, useful for when external resource update the container definition. Yeah, exactly. Needs to exist first on first deployment. Yeah, so that's pretty much the challenge which I remember. What was it? ECS module Terraform. Something with air. It was, let's see, airflow or airway. Let's see, ECS modules. I don't see anything what starts with air. Maybe I'll find it. Air. Yes, here, no, airship, right? Airship was a name by Martin. And this was very long time ago when he made it. Airship, I think the website even was airship TF. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, that's exactly the place where this solution was worked, like improved or worked around using some magic with Lambda. Okay, so create task definition here. So I'm not sure that this will work well for all solutions, like when user create task definition, or they want to reuse it, or they want to reuse already something what is not yet created. So it's, yeah, it's pretty hard to figure out. Ephemeral storage. Well, let's first suspicion which I have that this will not work in some regions, like in China. Then users don't have to specify this value. Problem solved. Okay, execution role. why do we have this condition here? Can we use try here? Task exec. Yeah, probably we can use try here as well, but fine. IAM role, create task exec IAM role, create task IAM role. No, where was it? Create task exec IAM role, then use this one. So this can be simply updated to use try, and that's gonna to work just fine. Because it's the same condition for comparison used, so it's okay. What about task role IRN? Here we use create tasks IAM. Why it's called tasks, like plural? Not sure why. Tasks. So where is this task exec? No, where was it? It was create task IAM role. Create tasks IAM role. It's different roles, tasks and exec. Yeah, my question is why there are tasks, not task. So because sometimes I see task, right? Task as a single thing. Yes, create task exec role, or create task definition, but tasks IAM role. Okay, so when we are making use of this var create in two places, here and here. Okay, so we are creating create tasks IAM role. Where is this? Var create. Right, again, this can be try. No need to put another comparison and remember about it. Simply tell Terraform that pick one of these which is going to succeed, and tasks, yeah, that's it. And one of these will succeed. Right, what else is here? So tasks are pretty good everywhere. Tasks IAM role tags, good. Tagging is good. Policy is good. Yeah, policy is fine. It's gonna to have one role and attach policy to it, so it's good. Sometimes you need to pay attention what kind of resource you're making, just to avoid constant rollbacks back and forward. here is task set. This is something new. I don't know what is this resource for. This is for external deployment, right? So this or etd, I already forget what is it. I mean, it's better to be a bit longer here. Service, and again, can we attach ECS task set to external services? The answer is yes, we should. Again, the point is that we make everything independent, cluster independent, service, task definition, container definition, task set, roles, all of this should be configured as the way we want. So that's why we already do this here, right? We already have cluster here. So the question here is, can we add the support for externally created ECS services outside of this module? It would be very powerful and flexible, given that it works. Mighty, compelling, and potent. I have no clue what is the difference, so let's pick up mighty. It would be mighty and flexible. That sounds so cool. Okay, what else is here? Platform tags. Again, tags. Let's move tags at the end and merge them with what is it? Task set. We don't have this variable yet, so we need to introduce it as well. Okay, and the same here. Please rename ITD into longer form. ITD, it should be then called ITDC, ignore task definition changes, but anyway, it's ugly. So let's move on. Here we have some discussion, oh my god. So enable auto scaling. What is this? Should this also check local is daemon for enable auto scaling is defaulted true and daemon scaling strategy is not compatible with auto scaling. Great, let me look into adding daemon set example. Right. Here we have application auto scaling target. Auto scaling, yeah, it should be fine. Right, sorry, this is it's important to understand it's not related to just this resource. It's not related to the previous task set. It's already a new type of resource which is responsible for just auto scaling. Okay, so autoscaling works for all services. Mhm. Okay, and enable autoscaling is a good example. It is controlled externally like this. The user may enable it. Again, the question is, will user be able to create these resources independently? So let's say they create everything like cluster services, whatever, externally, and then they want to use just application autoscaling target and handle them using this module. Probably it should be supported. And then let's extend this try with with externally created service to support externally created ECS service. Okay, and one more. We have policy for all of this. Right, so here we are just attaching policy to the target, and target is this resource ID. Right, I'm not gonna to read this. A bit magic detected. Should this be null? Because it's 360 and 75. Looks a bit magical to me. So let's read some documentation here and see if it is magical. Right, let's see. This was scale in cooldown. Scale in cooldown, amount of time in seconds after scale of activity. Right, so this is just a normal value which can be less or can be more. Yeah, user will have to specify it themselves. Probably a good default. Let's see, is it? Well, this is optional. Should we really ask user to provide this? Well, probably not. By default, 300 is like 5 minutes. Should be fine. Normally we ask user, but here it's okay. Like we do here with null. Okay, the last resource here is no, wait, not last. There was some magic here. Cluster name, element split from cluster. So we are getting, what is actually cluster name here? And where do we use it? Local cluster name. All right, we use it here only in one place. But we use var cluster in many other places, right? Yes. What if slash is not found in cluster name? Well, let's take a look how cluster actually cluster name is can be null, so default will go on AWS side. Um, are you talking about application autoscaling policy or about something else? So ECS cluster, how the cluster name looks like. Well, it has, I'm not sure I understand how cluster name looks like. Let's take a look into the code. I may have some ECS state file somewhere just to see how cluster name like this. So I didn't have cluster. Well, I didn't have a hyphen inside of it as far as I understand. So I'm not sure. ECS, not here. Maybe in this one. Nope, don't see it. Okay, so yeah, in auto scaling, yes, we may have to specify null. Then default will not go from provider, but it will go from AWS side. So yeah, I think you're right. Let's put this into, where was this? All right, so here, this magic number here. Let's put this to null, null to use AWS defaults. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I was uh, thinking about this cluster name right now. So I'm not sure that I understand where this cluster name is coming from. So let's take a look into module service variable. And here inside of service variables, cluster. So it says ID or IRN of ECS service where the resource will be provisioned. Or is it ID hyphen or not hyphen slash IRN? It's not clear. Is it ID as name or IRN? Because IRN is standard, but ID can be anything, can be pretty much any type of AZ09. Okay, where was it? Somewhere here. Where was this file? It's so big, so hard to review it like this. But okay, let me find the right part first. Okay, almost there. Right, so this cluster name. This cluster name is a bit confusing because var cluster can be AZ09. Hmm. Yeah, it can be also with hyphen. Maybe it can contain dots as well. Um, and may not contain I'm not sure what's the point of this split. Let's see if I go to my magic code here and I want to try this expression element from split by this and then simple string, and I need first element, it's returning this element. Otherwise it's returning f, which is okay, but I just don't understand if user I think I understand now. User may specify IRN maybe to fix wrong name automatically. Yeah, maybe, but maybe user can specify name like AA, or maybe user want to specify IRN, the whole thing, which is, and then, I don't know, ECS, and then cluster, and then something like this. Then it will pick up this F. Okay, and then it's quite elegantly. So this is like short form, and this is long IRN where we know that we care only about the last part. Okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense, and then this question may not. Okay, so then can be a string or full IRN. Actually, it says cluster name, so it means it's not IRN. Okay, full IRN. Can we add a comment saying that we are extracting cluster's name from var cluster? This. Okay, now it makes sense. This is good. Good. Yeah, security group. This is one thing which is still problematic with Terraform, and I know we have module, but that module is not so nice anymore. It still requires some love. So here I want to take a look into one argument which is not replace triggered by. No, not this, but something else. Let me see. Revoke rules on delete. I think this is it. So this will instruct Terraform to revoke all of the security groups attached rules before deleting rule itself. This normally not needed. No, okay, then I see. It's not needed, as I thought. Yeah, okay, let's skip this one. Okay. Oh my god, it's already 2 hour stream. Yeah, it's long stream, I know. But it's good. It's good that some of you are watching it and hopefully learning something. Okay, so security group is simple. Yeah, it's simple. It doesn't have anything magical yet. Okay, let's move on. We are almost there with this file. So service outputs, yes. ID, name, role, container definition, sensitive, true. Oh my god. I understand that this is necessary here, but yeah. Now all users of this stuff will suddenly have to wrap it with non-sensitive. But okay, that's family revision. This is probably wrong because this resource may be not created, right? Let's see. So this resource, yeah, okay, it will be created, right? Autoscaling, what was it? No, what was it? Outputs, policy. Yeah, actually, no, since it's using for each, it's probably always created. If it would be with count, then we need to wrap it with this guy. But by default, it will be empty map if auto scaling is disabled. So map of auto scaling, scheduled actions, and the attributes. Recently, somebody asked me whether it's a good idea to output the whole resource like this, and I say that same as we do with programming, we are not always exposing, like we are not always passing the whole element back and forth between different classes or entities. We prefer to pass specific properties of resource. Same here. If somebody will be using these auto scaling policies, for example, they would prefer to get exact points. But if we need to, let's say, later iterate for them or do some extra things, then we export this as a whole object. Similar as we do with programming. Okay, security group IRN and security group ID. That's good. Here is variables, bunch of different things. Is it name or IRN? No, that's what I figure out. Then it can be ID or just just ID or just yeah, okay. Okay, so it's ID or IRN of ECS cluster. The rest is fine. A lot of different values shared between service and task definition. Yeah, it's impossible to figure out. What is this amount of memory used by task? Can this be null again? It's magic. It's magic CPU. It is magic. Same with this one. Maybe even with this one, AWS VPC. Let's see, AWS VPC. VPC. Yes, exactly. So if something is mandatory, then user will have to figure out this. Oh, sitting 2 hours in one place is not easy. So yeah, user will have to specify this, but it's really important that user don't have surprises and something is configured and user have no clue how it's configured. Okay, let's move on. Requires capabilities. Can this be empty? Also null? Or empty list? I don't know which one is better. Well, actually, empty list is preferred here because then it's the same type as specified type here. Mm. Okay, almost there. Let's finalize for now, as you look like machine. No, I'm fine. I will just scroll it. I'm not gonna to run examples today because it's not gonna to end well. So here is list of policies, auto scaling max capacity. Well, this is magic number. This is magic. So it should be null. Mean capacity also null. Yeah, a lot of nulls are good. This one is good here because that's how it should be. It is the same for all users, so it's fine. Mm. Mm. Right, okay, finally, main variable files where we take care of cluster, and cluster has its own CloudWatch logs. That's good. Again, default retention 90 days. Maybe it's true. I don't know if it's true. Like, who decided that this is default retention? Well, should we specify log retention? I'm not sure. ECS, no, not ECS, Cloud Watch log group. Retention is optional, and yeah, 90 days is here. Okay, but it's optional, so it should be 0. I mean, not 0, it should be null. Should be null. And this one should be updated as well. No default for log retentions in AWS. Well, yeah, that's true. That's how it is. User will have to specify. Yes, if user wants, then they can specify whatever is necessary, but no need to figure out 90 days for them. And it's really a good idea to be explicit with your configuration. This is fine. Good default. I'm not sure when we start using markdowns inside of descriptions, but okay. It's minor thing. So yeah, that's it. There is not much to do. Yeah, this one probably should be updated. So available features, cluster, Fargate, capacity providers. Maybe reduce amount of features shown here. Reduce amount of details shown here next to each feature, right? Maybe reduce the number of details. Yeah, it is already shown. It's already described in on the submodule and examples. All right, I didn't look into example, I think. Somehow I scrolled through, but yeah, where was it? Yeah, I was a bit concerned about about subnet subnet data source which was used. Let me see. Right, so this one, I was not looking into this one. What's exactly happening here? So we are asking user to provide list of subnet IDs, and we get a VPC ID. Can we ask user to provide just VPC ID? Where else do we use this subnet IDs? List of subnet to associate with task or service. Right, so we are making service inside of this subnet. Good, and then we say, and then we extract VPC from that one. Right, okay, so instead of asking for VPC ID, we can get it ourselves. I'm having in my head some solutions where VPC can be shared or subnet can be shared, or it can be like deployed across different accounts, or some other shared configuration. It seems to be fine. I mean, anyway, you cannot deploy a service across, right? You cannot deploy service across different different VPCs, right? Maybe there are some network configurations, but should be fine. Okay, so that's fine. What else was it? Mhm. Okay, that should be fine. Let's all these outputs, all this removed, Fargate. Yeah, so the configuration for Fargate should be a little bit simpler as far as I understand with current defaults. Uh, as let's see, uh, no Fargate memory and no, for Fargate memory and CPU are mandatory. Right, so that's exactly what is specified here. So we don't need to specify it as required in our variables. That's good. Container name. Mhm. What is this? Service discovery HTTP namespace. That's I have no clue what is this. Looks cool. I always wanted to work with this service for some reason. I don't know why. But where is it used? It's inside of Service Connect configuration for Fargate service. Mm. Mm. Mhm. Bunch of different simple things. Okay, so now I'm gonna to submit this, and my main concern, which I still have not formalized in words, is related to the fact that all resources should be possible to create separately and reuse externally created G cluster service task definitions IAM roles etc. Okay, and second point is, do we need to have a submodule for the service, or can we extend the root module and create to reduce and introduce, or can we extend the root module and introduce several booleans to conditionally create? We already have all of this. We already have possibility to conditionally create a lot of things. All sub resources. And the last point is, I think there is no need to have container definition as a separate submodule, right? Yes, because it is just a single local map. Right, so I really like this and the whole set of features you added here. There are small, no, there are not small, there are some comments. Some inline comments and some bigger scale listed below. I like this PR and the features you've added here. There are some inline comments and some big scale. So all resources should be possible to create separately and reuse externally created, e.g. cluster, service, static definition, blah, blah, blah. Do we need to have someone for service, or can we extend the root module and reduce server? And actually the point of this one single big thing is let me think how to express. Yeah, the point will be that if user will want to create cluster, like now we have cluster externally and the rest. Then the creation of cluster will be possible to disable by just setting cluster create cluster equal false, for example. And then cluster name is expected to be provided externally. I personally think that having one is enough and not, and it will be a lot of work to maintain it this way. And the last one, I think there is no need to have container definition as a separate submodule because it is just local map value. And again, if we will need to have CloudWatch log inside of that module or inside of as part of container definition, it will be part of the root module or service submodule. So that's it's definitely should not be part of container definition. Right, let me know your thoughts and Ta-da! Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully it will succeed with this pull request submission. Takes some time, but finally 30 comments and we are done. Good, so this is pretty long review, but I think it's really necessary, and I really want to believe that at some point we'll have this module complete and we'll be using it quite heavily ourselves. Currently, I know that we use some of this module inside of Atlantis. Let me take a look how it's used there. So here we use it for 444 ECS. Right, even here we have possibility to conditionally create cluster. And here we have, yeah, here we have the same mux. Right, so here we are just making a cluster, and that's it. And then outside of it, we are making container definition, which in case of Cloud Posse was a separate module, but this was by historical reasons mostly because it is pretty messy, or it was pretty messy a long time ago to take care of this and do a lot of JSON merges. Here we are making task definition. Again, it will be part of the module. And we are making service, which is again going to be part of the module. And that's it. Right. Okay, I think that's it for today. I really appreciate everyone's input, and hopefully it will be, as I said, merged soon, reviewed, and we'll have good time using it. Thanks everyone for joining, and as usual, let me know if you have questions or feedback. See you next week, or maybe in a week. I don't know if I will be here next week. Bye.